His Divine Grace of Charnaarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON Deputy Founder Acharya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Namacharya हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजमय वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समावित भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. Glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 14 and text number 15. Here is Brahma's prayer to Lord Shri Krishna. Prabhupada writes that this chapter describes the prayers of Brahma offered to the Lord Krishna, who is known as Nanda Nandana. For his satisfaction, Brahma first praised the beauty of Lord's transcendental limbs and then declared that his original identity of sweetness is even more difficult to comprehend than his opulence. Only by the devotional process of hearing and chanting transcendental sound received from the Vedic authorities can one realize the personality of Godhead. It is fruitless to try to realize God through processes outside the scope of Vedic authority. The mystery of the personality of Godhead, who is the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities, is inconceivable. It is even more difficult to understand that the impersonal Supreme. Thus, only by the mercy of God can one understand His glories. Finally, realizing this, Brahma repeatedly condemned his own actions and recognized that the Lord Sri Krishna, the ultimate shelter of the universe, is Brahma's own father, the original Narayana. In this way, Brahma begged the Lord's forgiveness. Brahma then glorified the inconceivable opulence of the personality of Godhead and described the ways in which Brahma and Shiva differ from Lord Vishnu. The reason for this Supreme Lord's appearance in various species of demigods, animals and so on, the eternal nature of the pastimes of the personality of Godhead and the temporality of material world. By knowing the Supreme Personality in truth, the individual spirit soul can achieve a liberation from bondage. In actuality, however, both liberation and bondage are unreal, for it is only from the living entity's conditioned outlook that his bondage and liberation are produced. Thinking the personal form of Lord Shri Krishna, illusory fools reject his lotus feet and look elsewhere to find the Supreme himself. But the futility of their search is in the obvious proof of their foolishness. There is simply no way to understand the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without His mercy. So having established this conclusion, Lord Brahma analyzed the great good fortune of the residents of Braja and then personally prayed to the unborn he is personally praying that he be born even a blade of grass or bush and creeper in Vrindavan. Indeed, the homes of different residents of Vrindavan are not prisons of material existence, but rather abodes of enlivenment even by jnanis and yogis. On the other hand, any home without connection to the Lord Krishna is in fact a prison cell of material existence. Finally, Brahma offered his whole self as at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and praising him again and again, and circumambulating him, and took his leave. Lord Krishna then gathered the animals Brahma stole and led them to the place on the Yamuna's bank where the cowherd boys had been taking lunch. The same friends who had been present before were sitting there now by the power of Krishna's illusory energy. And they were not all of very aware that what has happened. Then when Krishna arrived with the cows, the boys told him, "You have returned so quickly, very good. As long as you were gone, we could not take even a morsel of food. So come and eat." Laughing at the words of the cowherd boys, Krishna began taking his meal, and in that company, while eating, Krishna pointed out to his young friends of the skin of the python, and the boys thought Krishna has just now killed the terrible snake. Indeed, later they related to the residents of Vrindavan the incident of Krishna killing the Aghasur demon. In this way, cowherd boys describe pastimes of Lord Krishna had performed in the Balya Leela or Balya stage up to the age of 5. Even though his Paugand age, that is 6 to 10, and had begun, Sukadeva Goswami concludes this chapter explaining how gopis loved Krishna even more than they loved their own sons. So here Brahma is speaking. So text number 15. Krishna. Text number 15, Brahma's prayer. Tat chet jalastham tava sat jagat vapuhu kim me na drashtam bhagavan tada eva kim va sudashtam Radi me tada eva kim na sapadi Eva Punaha Vyadarshi Tatte Jalastham Tava Sajjagatvapuhu Kimmena Drishtam Bhagavanstadeva Kim Vasudrushtam Radime Tadeva Kim no Sapatyeva Punarvyarashi Tatchejaslastham Tava Sajjagapsuhu Kimmena Drishtam Bhagavanstadeva Kim Vasudrushtam Radime Tadeva Kim no Sapatyeva Punarvyadirshi Tatchejarastham Tava Sajjagasdushu Kimmena Drashtam Bhagavastadeva Kim Vasudushtam Radime Tadeva Kim no Sapatyeva Punarvyadarshi Chant. Situated on water. Tava, Sat, real, Jagat, sheltering the entire universe. Vapu, transcendental body. King, why? Me, by me. Not drashtam, was not seen. Bhagavan, O Supreme Lord, Tadaeva, at that very time, Kim, why, or Sudrashtam, perfectly seen, Rati, within the heart, me, by me, Tada eva. Just then came by not who. On the other hand, sapali, suddenly, eva, indeed, punaha, again, Vyadarshi was seen. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace as Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, if your transcendental body, which shelters the entire universe, is certainly lying upon the water, then why were you not seen by me when I reached for you? And why, though I could not envision your properly within my heart, why did you then suddenly reveal yourself? Lord Brahma here refers to his experience at the dawn of cosmic creation. As described in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma took birth on the seat of a giant lotus, then stem emanating from the navel of Narayana. Brahma was bewildered as to his whereabouts, functions and identity, and therefore he tried to trace out the source of the lotus stem, searching for clear information. Unable to find the personality of Godhead, he returned to the seat and engaged in severe austerities of having been ordered to do so by the transcendental voice of the Lord, who could be heard but not seen. After a long meditation, Brahma saw the Lord, but then again lost the sight of him. Thus Brahma concludes that this transcendental body and of the personality of Godhead is not material, but rather an eternal spiritual form endowed with inconceivable mystic potencies. In other words, Lord Brahma should not have challenged the personality of Godhead, the Lord of all lords, all mystic power. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sayyidata Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Bhadan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Se Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhye Visha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Vishnupadaya Vishnuvishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschapati Sukarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My dear Lord, if your transcendental body which shelters the entire universe is actually lying upon the water, then why were you not seen by me when I searched for you? And why, though I could not envision you properly within my heart. Did you then suddenly reveal yourself? So this is a very intriguing question that Brahma is asking. On his own, Brahma was a failure to find out who is the source of his origin. Right? And he was frustrated. So he heard three sounds, tapa, tapa, tapa. Mayavadi says tapa, tapa, tapa. And it's the three drops of water fell from the lotus in the Garbhodak ocean. So it sounded like that. Now, tapa, Brahma is a person. He heard that before also. He cannot make mistakes all the time when the new millennium begins. So Brahma took up the Vedic literature and Tene Brahma Radaya Adi Kavi. So he had to propagate. And by the potency Lord Krishna gave him, in the form of Vyasadeva, he spread out the literatures. So, Brahma's question was that the literature itself reveals the Supreme Lord. But why it is so obscure? That is not going to be available to the common people. Now, this is very intriguing. Brahma said, you were not able to see when I tried to see you. Okay? When I tried to see you, you know what happened? When Brahma woke up, he found everything is dark. He cannot find out whereabouts, where he was. There was no dim light or reflected light or anything. In the time of devastation, everything, every power sources of light is disappearing. So, sun, moon, everything will be completely extinguished. So, during that time, Brahma has to go to sleep. So, Garbhodak ocean is there, and the lotus front is closing. Right? It's a closed lotus, and Brahma is born in it. But it's said along with some other entities that Brahma has to endure all whatever he came to know by meditation about the Supreme Lord. But nonetheless, he is still impersonal. And therefore the question arises, the first Brahma so impersonal and then personal. Vadanti tattvavidasratham yadyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shuktate. So the three Gunavataras, but then you push me on. That's okay. So, Brahma could not recognize himself because it's all darkness. So Brahma tried to use, sight is not working, the sense of touch is using, and spreading his hand everywhere. He found something like hole in the stem. So he entered the stem and went all the way, but the stem was so much elongated that he reached the navel surface. But that navel was so much be. He cannot imagine. So actually he was afraid. So he came back. All right? And he was so frustrated. Then he requires some impetus to do meditation. So Krishna said, that is here in the Garbha, say, tapa, tapa, tapa. Tap, 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 tap. Tapa means you perform austerity, not the sound of impersonal aspect of water, tap, 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 leaking water. You know, it makes sound tap, 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 like that. So Brahma, how he understood that when I woke up last time, I had to do austerity. So austerity he performed for 100 celestial years, and thus he was able to get some knowledge what he did on the previous day. Okay? That he has to create. So he utilized this potency and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his effulgence, Brahmajyoti, is said to be impersonal. But it gave rise to sun and moon artificial energies. And Brahma could see around himself very well. Okay. But it would not say anything. That during tapa, austerity should be pleasing to Lord Krishna. So, Brahma says here that even though I was inspired by you, yet when I came to see you, you were not available. Hiranyagarbha is that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, on his navel, the lotus springs, and Brahma was born. All right? For a human being, it is completely reverse. There is a lotus-like profusion which is stuck to mother's womb. It sucks up the blood and circulates in the fetus. So as if the fetus is stuck at the navel point. Actually, the navel is Lord Vishnu's navel. And here, instead of Lord Vishnu, the child or the fetus will be stuck. It's completely reverse. So transcendental nature cannot be perceived just like that. It's completely other way around. Urdhva mula madhashakam asvatha prahuravyayam chandansi yasya parnani yasam veda savedavid. So seekers of the truth know that this material world is upside down, banyan tree, whose roots are up and branches and leaves are downward. Actually, you can see that on the reflection in the water. But here, material world is an upside down reflection of the spiritual world. And man has been given the body just resembling that of Krishna, two-handed form. So still ignorance is there. Unless and until we remove the ignorance about Lord Shri Krishna. So this is a direct conversation with Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And Brahma is questioning, so why did you not allow me to see you? Like that. I was unable to see you. But he worships them. Kim med na drashtum bhagavan sadeva Kim va sudrushtam radimete tadeva kim no sapadyeva punarprasidasi. Then why did you allow me to see when I meditated upon you, to see within my heart? This was the question. These two acts, trying to see the Lord face to face, even the Lord will be there, we will not be able to understand. Radha Damodar ko koi janta hai. It's too difficult to understand. But Premanjanachurita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva radeshu. We cannot see Radha Damodar through our blunt eyes. Only the eyes within the heart which is anointed with the salve of love. One can see Shyam, Tripangala, Shyama Sundar, Tripangala Litam Niyata Prakasham Govinda Madhipurusham. But that is the technique. So here, Prabhupada also calls this is the technique. If you ask pertinent question, why did you allow me to see when I meditated in your heart? Otherwise, I was there, right there with you, and you did not allow me to see you. What could be the reason? Only by performing the acts of devotional service, that will attract Lord Krishna. But Lord Krishna is so independent that he will reveal himself only to those who choose him, who is chosen by him. Rest will not. So vision is important to see the Lord. But we have to see the Lord according to how we are being trained up in the philosophy as well as application. Without that, we will never understand. Even if we see the Lord, we will not have any access to it. So unless and until pure devotional service is performed, it is very difficult. So, what his Brahma was bewildered as to his whereabout functions and identity, and therefore he tried to trace out the source of the lotus stem, searching for clear information. Unable to find the personality of Godhead, he returned to his great seat and engaged in severe austerities, having been ordered to do so by the transcendental service of the Lord, who could be heard but not seen. He can hear, but he will not be able to see. Naham prakasa sarvasya yoga maya samavutta. I will hear you. The way you are calling me, I will hear you. But I will not respond to you. I will not see you. Krishna chooses to whom he has to give the darshan. Nayamatmana pravachanena labhya athava bahuna shutena va yan atma labhyate tad anuswam. When he chooses himself whom to be revealed, then he will give the darshan. Not like that. It is his independence, his jurisdiction, and nobody can force Krishna, come and give me your darshan and carry. So, after a long meditation, Brahma saw the Lord, but again he lost the sight of him. Thus Brahma concludes that the transcendental body of the personality of Godhead is not material, but rather an eternal spiritual form endowed with inconceivable mystic potencies. In other words, Lord Brahma should not have challenged the personality of Godhead, the Lord of divine power. Anybody has any question? No? Yeah.
You said that.
जोर से बोलना.
You said that Brahma, in order for Brahma to see Lord, he had to do devotional service. So Lord is instructing him to do tapa. So how is it connected with our devotional service?
How he is connected to?
Without devotional service. Without devotional service.
Devotional service.
Lord asked him to do tapasya.
Right.
So can you connect it with our devotional?
Yes, in Satya Yuga, in the beginning of the millennium, tapa was the only answer. And austerities for how long? 100 celestial years. Alright? But that is a purificatory process. And then the Lord could give audience. Okay. So they say in Satya Yuga, you have to perform austerities, and at that end you get the holy name. Holy name is not directly available. So similarly, holy name of the Lord is revealed first through His holy name, and you have to chant. And in Treta, you have to perform fire sacrifice to receive the holy name. Like that. We are getting direct holy name because no other Yajna Tapakriya. It is for the 3 yugas. Kali Yuga is not fit. So ultimately everybody should receive the holy name. When Brahma received the holy name, he took up the beads. So you will see in Brahma's hand, beads. Chanting beads out there. He may not be using joli like us, that's why we don't recognize it. But he holds in his hand. Lord Shiva has. Without the holy name, nobody can go and contact the Godhead for any age. Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. So, even though Lord Krishna is the originator of this universe, he created Brahma first. So why Asuras give him the higher position? Why Asuras give him the higher regard than Lord Krishna?
Then who will perform creation?
No, Lord Brahma has created.
Brahma himself is not the creator, he is the secondary creator.
Secondary created.
But Krishna has delegated him the powers of creation. Okay? Rajogun. Rajagun is a creative principle.
So why asuras give him the higher
Eh?
asurs? Asurs.
Asuras giving Brahma higher regard than Krishna.
Yeah, but something transcendental is always. But how would you give a living entity who is Satchidananda, but when he separated from Krishna, he was imitating to lord it over without him. So naturally he receives completely an opposite medium. So even Brahma has material body, but it is saturated with more of passion only. Little less sattva-gun or less tamo-gun. So, but they can still do wonderful activities because spiritual potency is there. And they realize also. But after a lot of corrections. First they make mistake, and then they will be corrected.
Question is why asuras worship Brahma, not Krishna?
Eh?
A question is why asuras consider Brahma the highest, not Lord Krishna? Asuras.
Why Asuras worshipping Brahma, not Krishna?
Asuras are envious of Brahma even. Because Brahma knows the nature, they are envious, more envious than anybody else. So he was giving preference to give the bodies to demigods first. And Asuras were behind him. Okay? So Asuras saw that this is not impartial. He shows partiality. So they cannot wait, and Asuras by nature very envious. So somebody said, don't spare him, beat him up. He needs punishment. So they were attacking Brahma during the creation. And somebody says, eat them, eat him up. So those who say, don't spare him, beat him up, they were yakshas. And those who say, eat him up, they were rakshas. So Brahma had to pacify them. I will give you the body in right time. But why do you want to kill your father who is going to give you body? That's the kind of nature, envious. That is there in Bhagavatam. So the point is that asuras are envious, more envy, more tamagu.
Maharaj, when after the time of dissolution, when all the jivas enter the body of Mahavishnu, what is their function? Are they just suspended?
And the body is useless? No. In the body of Mahavishnu, everything lies. Everything is contained in the body. From the pores, universes are coming. And when he inhales, everything goes in within his stomach. But we feel a little different. When we are out for some time, we think we are liberated. No, we are subjugated by the laws of material nature. Material nature is suspended within the stomach of Mahavishnu.
And the jivas are there also?
Yes, but they don't have material bodies, they have subtle bodies of mind, intelligence and ego. When inundation comes, gross body is going to finish, decay or whatever it is.
So it is a long period of time the jivas are in the body. They don't realize what we are doing.
Sleeping, ignorance, that is called night. Night is same as another 12 hours of night. Right? Anything else? I'm sleepy. Okay, bye, Haribo.
Hare Krishna.